So guys, welcome to training, to this session today. This is the 8th day of training that we've been doing. I thought maybe today we would do something a little bit different. So typically what I do is just open everything up to you and do exactly what you guys want to do and just ask you guys for your input, and then we just go over and we do anything that it is that you guys are wanting to do. We just do it live on the training. So we can still do that. You guys are free to ask any questions that you want, and we can go over any particular things that you want. But Amar here had a pretty good idea where we could pretty much go from start to finish and build out all the basic scaffolding of our demo restaurant bot. We could just kind of start over and go from start to finish and build out all the generic scaffolding that we need for a restaurant bot. So the different things that a restaurant would need inside their bot. So so I thought we could kind of go ahead and start doing that today. We've got a completely empty bot here, so there's nothing here in this bot whatsoever. It's a completely empty bot. So the only thing that's in this bot is the things that have been provided to us by ManyChat by default when the bot's been set up. So so we can go ahead and basically get started. And like I said, if you guys have any questions or concerns, or if we start moving too fast, just feel free to open your mic and just scream or something, or pop in some chat down inside the window, inside the chat box. So the very first thing that we really want to do on our bot is set this up right here. This is going to be our greeting text. So first, let's look at this guy right here. So this is this guy right here. So you can see he doesn't have anything there. He doesn't have any greeting text there. So we need to go in and actually fill out some greeting text right here in our settings tab. So let's fill that out. Now just keep in mind that I'm an engineer, not a content writer. So the content that I write mostly is just going to be some generic content that we would assume that we would get some content curator to go in and really perfect for us. So there's that. Go ahead and get that set up. So let's go ahead and save that. And then let's just refresh this page right here. So now you can see we've got that. So let's go ahead and get started. And we can see when we get started, it doesn't look like anything is happening here when we get started at all. So now, are there any things that you guys think that we should really do when a user gets started? Is there anything that we really want to do? And my suggestion, whenever we get started, we want to have some engaging content that we can begin to go in and use to start segmenting out our users. So we can go in and build this flow. We want to go to our automation. We want to go to our welcome message. So here we have some welcome message. So I like to use the flow builder is what I like to use. So we can just go ahead and start on this.
Hey, John.
Hey, how are you?
Good. It looks like we have an Italian restaurant going on.
Yeah, so Amar, kind of what Amar wanted to do is he kind of wanted to go from start to finish and go through and set up a demo bot for a restaurant. So this is his Facebook page, and he's just invited me as an admin to it so that I could go in and actually set up this flow for you guys, and we could kind of just go from beginning to end during the training sessions today, and kind of focus on getting a flow set out, a really useful flow, and show you how, some of the basic things, all the way from, all the basic stuff that you need when you first set up a bot, all the way to some of the more advanced things and the specific things that would most likely be needed for a restaurant for that type of bot in particular.
Is this somewhat already mapped out on the flow chart, or is it just going to happen organically?
Yeah, it's not mapped out at all. It's gonna kind of just be organically. I typically don't map out most of my stuff. Personally, most of the time I don't map out most of my stuff because it just comes to me pretty quickly. So I usually don't map stuff out unless it's something really complex. And I would assume on this first training session, we're not going to get into anything that's going to be real complex, because we're going to go in and just set out some of the basic scaffolding of the bot itself. So,
right.
So here we have two big options that we could go through. We could either use these quick replies here, or we could use buttons if we want. So I don't really have a preference between the two, but most of the time I use these little quick replies.
Just a quick question, John. Normally on my screen, I would see that you have recording turned on. I don't see that notification now. Is it on?
Yeah, it's totally turned on.
All right, cool. Okay, just making sure.
Yeah,
thanks.
Well, thank you for that. I appreciate that, because I do forget sometimes. But I went in earlier. I went in earlier to Zoom, and I just made a couple modifications to Zoom earlier because I was checking it out. So that could be it. So I think the easier flow here to start with is going to be this no thank you. If somebody doesn't want to actually get any birthday notification, then this would be the easier flow. So I think here what we could do, if they say no thank you, we could just ask them what they want to do today, what they're looking for. And I would say the typical things that they're going to want is business hours. Maybe they want a location. Maybe they want to see the menu. And maybe they want to reserve a table. And I'm not sure if there's anything else that they're going to want to do from this call to action right here. So this gives them a couple things that they could go in and do.
Hi, John.
Hey, how are you?
Fine, thank you. Listen, I think in this option, I think it will be better if we add buttons, because maybe he wants to see the business hours and then he wants to reserve a table. So if he click it on business hours and the other option disappeared, how he can go back and ask for location or the menu or reserve a table?
Yeah, so we can add buttons. We can totally add buttons if you want. just keep in mind that these buttons, we are limited to only three buttons. And the reason that I don't like to use buttons is because I don't like to ever use more than one button. If I'm going to use a button, I'm only ever going to use one button. And the reason I don't like to use more than one buttons is because it starts to make this piece of content right here get really bulky. So if I were to have some piece of content like this here, and I was to put it in here with these buttons, then this piece of content is going to start getting bulky, and it's not actually going to fit inside your Messenger window. If you're on a desktop, it's going to require you to go in and actually scroll up. So to alleviate your issue, what you're talking about, we can easily alleviate that pretty easily. Let's say he wants to see these business hours. Let's say he wants to see these business hours. We can just easily come in here and say location, see menu, reserve a table.
Yeah, cool. That's fine.
And just give them these call to actions every time. So we can easily go in and do that over and over. Now, one thing I want to make sure that you guys know is that you can go in and actually edit these. You can go in and edit these here so that whenever you're building your flow, you can easily see what these guys are actually for and what these guys are actually doing. So I could come in here and put this in as business hours. And then I could put this guy in, this is location. And then I can just route that guy down right there. And then I can call this guy as menu. And then this guy's obviously going to be reserve table. So now I could just do that to each of these guys, right? To each of these guys, I can just go in and have everybody have links back into these other, I can have everybody have links back into these other call to action. So this is going to be my location. So in here, I could go in my location and I'll put business hours. I will.
Hey, John, with all the links going back and forth, I think an Italian restaurant's appropriate because it's going to start looking like spaghetti.
That's right. That's right.
You couldn't set aside something equivalent of like a menu module of sorts so that it's a persistent menu, considering it'll always be the same links anyway?
Well, I could go in, if you're asking, like, could I make like a, are you saying, could I make their actual menu? Is that what you're saying? Could I make their
No. I meant what you're doing right now, those three choices that you have, because those three choices are pretty much going to appear everywhere, right? Mm-hmm. Does it need to be set up manually like this? And you couldn't have a, I guess, a function or a flow that it's a one click away. Like I want to see my choices again, and then would take you to those three options. Because otherwise, you're going to have to do this recursively each time, right? For each branch.
Sure, but what I would end up doing is I would end up going in and making location. I would go in and grab this guy, and I would copy, or this location. I would copy him, and I would make I would make a new flow called location, a generic flow. The only thing is I can't do that here because if I route this guy to that flow over there, then, and I could essentially do that, but then it's not going to give an indicative pattern of what's actually going on here. It's going to look like he goes in. It's going to look like he goes in and, where's that guy at? Anyways, it's going to look like he goes in and actually dead ends when he doesn't.
Yeah.
Actually,
Okay.
When he doesn't actually dead end at all. So,
Right. Okay.
But I would typically make these guys. There we go. So I would typically go in here and create a new flow and call it business hours. Right. Now the only issue is with this is I'll go in and the only issue with this is I will go in. Does Johnny Carinos give me any business hours? The only issue with this is, like I said, it's going to look like it just dead ends into an actual flow. And these guys don't.
When you say it'll look like it dead ends, you don't mean to the end user. You just mean from a flow chart perspective, right?
Right. From my perspective, if I were to go in, and I could do something like this, go to, and now I could go into business hours, right? So now he just looks like he dead ends here. Right.
Yeah. Okay.
And then essentially that's how this would look is I would have this and this guy would just go into 4 of these different flows. And then now inside this flow, I would go over here into these business hours and essentially have the exact same thing, right? I would have this business hour and I could go in and do that. And that's most likely what I'm going to do. So
because that makes it a reusable component, right? So no matter how big this ends up getting later, you can always point right back to this one.
Correct. So that I can do just fine. So I can just save that guy. It's my business hours. And then I can come over here and then just, let's say, get rid of this guy, get rid of that guy, get rid of that guy. Just do it a little faster, get rid of those guys. And now I can come in. Let's just go ahead and get rid of these buttons as well. And now I can go in and route this guy right in to
that module. Yeah.
And then I can create a new one called location. Now, and yeah, I can show that in just a few minutes, Colin. No problem. I can show how to that functionality. I can show that functionality for you. You're talking about this functionality, right? You're talking to this functionality where it basically goes in and sees if you're subscribed to another bot of mine, and if you are, you should see that my other bot right here just sent you out a message. So this bot literally triggered that this other bot sends you out a message. So I can show you that as well, and that's pretty straightforward. Actually, that's a really easy process. So no magic happening there. So this is actually their location. So Amar, did you think that this should be a one location place or a multiple location place?
Well, we can do 3 locations.
At the bottom of the page, it says locations. Yeah, there you go.
Johnny Greenhouse, you have a bunch of locations. Okay, so you want to have multiple locations?
Yeah, like 3, let's say.
Considering there are several, John, would it be easier to put these in the table and pull them in from a sheet?
For this guy, for this guy, I'm not sure how we would handle that. If we were doing Johnny Carino's, I'm not sure how we would handle that because he's got so many locations and essentially, essentially what we would need to do. I mean, we could pull it in. We could pull it in from a sheet, but we are going to have some trigger process that would go in and actually do the lookup. And let's say we could do simply, we could ask him what state do you want to look up in, right? And he says Texas. Right. Well, now if he says Texas, our issue is going to be the same issue that we've kind of been running into, is the fact that I'm gonna, in my spreadsheet, the only way I could really do it right now is in my spreadsheet. In my spreadsheet, I'm going to have like just one column that has a whole bunch of locations. And whenever I send him that's going to be a massive text, and it's just not going to really be usable because I can't send them to him one at a time.
We can use like keywords and ask the user what states you live in, and base it on our map. Say, yes, here is the location of this state. Or no, sorry, we don't have in this location any branches for us, something like this, I think.
Right. No, we could do that. Yes, we could totally do that. Here's my suggestion though for this particular bot. My suggestion for this bot is we just make an assumption. We just go ahead and make an assumption that whoever we're targeting here is not going to be an enterprise level like Johnny Carino's. If I'm going to approach Johnny Carino's to sell a bot to, trust me, I'm not going to build their bot on ManyChat whatsoever. I'm going to tell these guys they're going to pay me $120,000 most likely at least for their bot. I'm not going to build it on ManyChat. I'm going to have my engineers go in and build them a complete custom bot. Yeah. So we're going to assume for this that this demo bot for this Italian restaurant is going to be our target market for this guy, is going to be more of a mom and pops that I'm going to be looking for no more than probably $5,000 for their bot. So
a local business.
Right. These guys may have 2 locations, maybe 3 locations maximum, but they're not going to have most likely any more than that. So
that's right.
So let's see. I'm just going to go in and steal these guys' content here. Hey, look, I could have stole that content right there. So I'm just going to steal their content. So that should be good enough. So now what I should probably do though is I should probably actually come in and do something very similar here. Okay. So probably what I would want to do is do something very similar here. I'm going to copy this guy here and I'm going to paste that guy inside there. And then I'm going to have to basically do the exact same thing, which is go in and first ask which location you want more information, which location do you want to get more information on, because I'm going to assume that all these guys are going to have some different information. So this is going to be Commerce Township. And this is location. So I'm not sure how this is going to actually look in the bot so what we could do here is we could go in and put some card. So that should be good enough there. And let's see. And then I could essentially just come in here and grab this guy right here. And just make a little snip of this guy right here. And now go in and put that guy. So that should be good. And here I might as well just put in a call button, right? Since I'm already here and I know they've got some phone number. Here's that guy. So I might as well just put in some phone number for this guy. So now I've got a good little template, and I think this is good. And maybe I could add one more. Maybe I could add one more button here. That would be business hours, and I could just send them a text with the business hours. Right. And then I can come in and go back. Must have been this guy right here.
This looks very good. Can I give them an option also if they want to go back to the main menu, if they change their mind?
Could you just talk a little bit louder?
Yeah, I mean, can I give them in this stage an option to go back to the menu or go something where else? Because I think it's like a dead end here.
And this option right here?
Yeah, after they see the business hours or the directions, what if they want to go back to the menu?
So would that work for you?
Yeah, this was good.
I'll just give them this other locations, and then we'll route them right back here and let them go back in, and let them go back in and do that. So
that's good.
And we'll just clean this up a little bit so that it looks good. I don't think it looks good if it's on multiple lines. So now that works pretty good, right, for the most part. And then essentially all I'd want to do is grab this guy right here, copy him and paste him, and put him right in there, and copy him and paste him again. and put them right inside there. So now let's just grab this guy. As well. And then now we can route this Allen Park in here. And then we can route this Pigeon Forge in there. So now we just need to come in here and edit this guy to be Allen Park.
Johnny Carino's is the actual name of the restaurant, correct?
Yeah, yeah. It's a really, really good restaurant too.
Yeah. Their fan page seems to have already a bot in place.
So if that's the case, let's check it out and see what they're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's Carino's Italian. So facebook.com/Carino's Italian.
Yeah, this right here.
Yeah.
I don't think they have a bot in place at all.
Now, actually, if you go to on the right-hand side where it says send message, because on mine it came up with 3 menu options.
Is that
Yeah.
not the same
Where
one
it says
right
about? Yeah, where it says about. Click on that link right underneath where it says about, to the right-hand side. Sorry, go back to the screen you were. Yeah, on the right-hand side, yeah, click on the send message. For some reason on mine, that one shows up with some options.
here?
So
Yeah.
it says about, it has their phone number, and then it says send message, right? That's weird. You get nothing, and I get 3 questions.
Yeah, I get.
I'm going to send you a snapshot of what I get, okay?
Yep.
Hold on
I
a
get
second.
nothing at all.
Yeah.
You also get no menu calling.
Okay, here's what I get. I just put a link in there for you. Now, what's interesting is if I go through the sequence, I'll check it out right now. I'm assuming things happen. But if I click on the gear that says open up in Messenger, then it gives me a blank page. So whatever they have is not working properly. But at least they seem to have started something.
And this isn't a bot, by the way. This isn't actually a bot like we would be thinking about a bot.
It's just Messenger?
Correct. You can go into your Messenger, and you can go into your Messenger and do this. You can go right into your Messenger and then do these, set up those quick replies inside your inside your Messenger right on your Facebook page from Facebook's end.
From the clip that I sent you, at least they have an idea what they're thinking.
Correct. So to look at that clip again. So this could be good. This could be good. This could also be good.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, all 4 of these could actually be good things that we'd probably want to implement inside our bot.
But what I'm thinking from even from a sales or a pitch perspective, they already have this, but it doesn't really do a whole lot, right? So you take their exact same questions, but now you build the flow behind it. You've just taken their bare bones concept and turned it into something that actually has meat behind it.
And it doesn't. And it not only does it not do anything right now, it doesn't work for most people. It seems like.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
So there's that. Get directions. So what we actually wanted to do is go to this Allen Park, get directions, and then come back in here to this get directions. Put that guy in, come back to this Allen Park, grab his phone number. There's that. And then for his business hours, what was your business hours, buddy? This was your business hours. Looks like he's open really the same time that the other guys opened. So looks like they're open the same time. So I'll just copy this guy here. Actually, I don't need to copy that guy because that guy's already there. So
Yeah, well, it's just a demo. They can always update the content.
right. So that guy's actually there. That guy's there. And then we'll come in here to this last part. Pretty sure that last one should be this Pigeon Forge. George, buddy, quit doing that. And then let's just get these directions. George. Let's go back one more time to this guy and make sure that I got the right link there. And then the last thing I needed to do was grab this. Let's grab this guy right here. So now that guy is completely done. And I would say I could probably, if I wanted to, I could probably actually use this same flow here for this business hours, right? So I'm going to actually use that same flow for their business hours. So I have this business hours here. And what I'm actually going to do is just select this guy, copy this guy, go to business hours. Drag that guy over there, delete this guy. And then I'm actually think I'm going to just basically delete these guys here, delete that guy there, and do the same thing here, delete this guy. And I think I'll just link my business hours up to, right up to, give them my business hours first. And I'll just give this guy my business hours first. And then here, maybe I can just go get rid of that guy. George. So now I think I can just do that. And that guy's Pigeon Forge. Other locations will go there. This guy is there. And that guy should be there.
Good question, John. Does ManyChat save automatically? So, like, if your browser were to crap out right now, would it retain all this, or does it roll back to a certain point?
I think it saves pretty much automatically here.
Okay.
Will you just go drown him in the toilet or something? He's going complete crazy. So now what I can do, route that guy back there, That's one of the pitfalls of having a monkey is they just sometimes go insane.
He's been sipping at your coffee.
Hey, speaking of coffee, could I have some tea, please? So I'll get rid of those business hours because I don't actually need this. So then here I could go in and now probably do another thing called other locations. George. And then now that way this guy's always having some CTAs.
Right.
Hey, Jack. Jack there? So I think that's good there. Hey, could you just babysit my monkey for a little bit? Could you just take him in there and hang out with him for a little bit? Let him hang out in your room and go crazy in your room. So I think this is good for our business hours, right? We put them in the location. We're first going to deliver them the business hours. We're going to allow them to get more information about this particular location. The only thing we may want to do, and I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it right now. We could do it later. But the only thing we may want to do is go in and edit these two images because these two images, we've used the same image for everybody. But I don't think we need to do it for the purpose of this actual demo because I think everybody gets the point of what we would actually do here. So now we've got our business hours content. We've got our location content. So we're just routing into those business hours. We're going to route into that location. Now, the thing is that now we're also going to need to route all these flows into something similar like this. Because if we're going to allow these guys to have 3 locations, I'm going to assume that the menus at each location could vary. I'm also going to assume if you want to book a table that you're going to have to pick which location you want to actually book the table at. So having a multi location restaurant bot is going to be a little bit more complex than just having the single one-off restaurant. So our next thing that we're going to do, and you can see what's happening. We haven't even built out. I said that this no thank you is probably going to be a little bit easier to do than the yes, I'd love that. And then that doesn't actually seem to be the case now. So we've done their business hours. We've got their business hours here. Now we may want to go in here and give them some more options here, just like they have here where they could see the menu and reserve a table. We may want to go in and give them that. And we can go in and edit that later on once we actually build out those modules. So now we need to go in and build out the C menu module. Okay. So for that, we also want to have a main menu. And in this main menu, we're just going to grab this guy, copy that guy, paste them in there. And then here, so we could introduce another concept here, okay? So we could introduce another concept here where we could go in, and if we're gonna have this, right? If we're gonna have all these different locations every single time, then we could go in and engineer some concept where and one of these screens, like one of these cards right here, whenever you get to one of these cards, we could put a little thing in that would say set as default location, or this is my preferred location. And then we could save some variable and have some conditional logic. So whenever somebody says, hey, I want to see your business hours, we're going to bypass this step right here and just route right into their preferred business hours. And then we could just have a call to action that says, change location. And then now they don't have to go in and hit these CTAs all the time to pick what location it is every single time, especially if it's a patron who's always going to be going to the same location. Then we can kind of bypass them a couple clicks by allowing them to pick one of these locations and say, this is my preferred location. So whenever you show me content, just bypass these options where you're asking me to pick the location, because this is the location I want all the time. So we could do that. And now we want to come in here and do, let's see, this is going to be Commerce Township menu. It's going to be Allen Park menu. And then we need our last one, which was Pigeon Forge menu. Now, so we've got our different menus. And so now we can just route that guy in there to Pigeon Forge menu. And we could route this guy into the Allen Park menu. And then we could route that guy into that Commerce Township menu. So now our menu is done for the most part. That particular part of the menu is done. So now we've got our menu. And that routes into our menu. Now this reserve a table. Let's reserve a table. We're going to save that guy, and then we'll just route that guy into reserve a table. So now that guy's done. So now we got to go in and build out this flow, and then obviously we got to build out these two menu flows, this guy having 3 flows, and this guy going to have probably one main flow, but 3 different zaps that will get triggered by this guy, because we got 3 different locations, and most likely we'll want to give everybody their own calendar or their own spreadsheet instead of trying to have one master spreadsheet. And we may have both. We may have one master calendar and one master spreadsheet, and 3 additional, one for each location. That way, the guy that owns, the main owner, he most likely owns all 3 locations and has some managers. He can go in from a high level and see, how all 3 guys are doing, versus the business manager or some employee at location A can go in and just focus on, table bookings and table reservations for their particular location. So now we want to go in and now we want to go in and do this birthday flow, right? So we want to go in and do this birthday flow. And one thing that, like I said, I'm not a content person, but one thing I think that we need to make sure that we do is keep our person and the right person. So if we're going to use we in one place and we don't want to use I in the other place, we don't want to go from the plural to singular and within our bot, because it's going to feel really weird that one person saying, well, sometimes you're saying I, sometimes we're saying we. So let's go in and get this user input. And that can just be a text. And, you know, honestly, this date and this date and time is completely useless. There's nothing whatsoever that I've noticed that there's no way whatsoever to actually use these that I've noticed, because if you actually select these guys and then whenever you try to put input in, it just, they always tell you that that's the invalid type of input and you can't put that input in there. So now we've done that. We've went in, we've got their birthday, and we've got their birthday and put their birthday in. So Amir, you want to do something like we did in the other restaurant bot and just basically segment these guys and ask them if they would prefer to have drinks or
Please. Also, one
dessert.
question. Yeah, that's what I want. One thing I want to understand, that when you ask for a birthday and he will type the year, how the calendar will go and send him a message in this particular date.
Yeah. So I'll show you that. We got a really good solution. I got a really good solution for that. And actually, I don't know if it was Dennis or someone else that actually Googled and found a pretty cool Excel formula that we could use, that we implemented in one of the other, it was Dennis or Colin or I'm pretty sure it was one of those two people that actually gave me the formula and gave me a link to the actual formula. So pretty simple formula that we can use in Excel, and we'll go ahead and run through that in this particular demo. So first, let's collect the rest of this information from them. So now from here, I'm trying to think from here. I don't think it's necessary. It would be nice, right? It would be nice at this step right here if I could, it would be nice if I could come in right here, trigger out a zap to pump their birthday up to Zapier, and then have Zapier give me back down their age, and then I could store that age in a custom field, and then in this next message I could reference their age and be like, whenever thanks. I could ask them now if they want some drinks or dessert, and then they answer. And then I could be like, great, I'll see you I'll see you for drinks whenever you turn 31 or 17 or whatever. And then I could even go in and actually do a conditional check and say, sorry, I can't get you drinks because you're only going to be turning 20, so I can't get you any drinks yet. So we'll do that. Okay, we'll do that here. So in order for that to happen, we need to come here, and we need to come in and create a custom field. That's going to be age. That's going to be a number type. Okay, so now what we need to do is come back over here, trigger a zap. What was this? This is something we did earlier. Shorten URL. If you want to have your bot accept URLs and give back short URLs to your users, that's something that we did earlier today. So now we want to come in here and say mini chat. And we want to do whenever a zap is triggered. And we want to connect an account. And we're going to use this Italian restaurant demo. And now we're going to come back over here, refresh this page. Now hopefully we've got trigger zap. And we're just going to call that store user's birthday. And then we'll come back over here, store user's birthday. And then now we're going to now what we're going to do is go in and create a Google Sheet. And then we're also going to come over here to this and try to remember where this is at. So we can just grab that guy. Where is that guy at? So that was dance. Maybe it's here. I'm pretty sure it was dance. Well, let me try to find this real quick. Add to order. Country lookup. Fetch data. Meeting reminder. Joke. Store data. Probably should have named all those guys. This is why I really recommend that we actually. This is why I really recommend that we name our stuff. That we name our stuff properly. So. I just don't see that guy at all where he could actually be. I know that we have somebody that is, we gave a dance class by age, and in that dance class by age, I've got that actual formula, and that's what I'm looking for. And that dance class by age, I've got that actual formula that we want to use. We want to use that formula, so raise up here.
I'm not sure if on that one you were doing it by the birth date, or rather simply by the age.
Yeah, no, I was doing it. I did it by the birth date. I got their birth
Oh,
date,
okay.
and then I used that
Oh, that's
formula.
right. That's right.
Uh,
Yeah.
I use that formula because we literally use
Yeah. Well, you have one down there. It says calculate age from birth date. Is that what the one you're looking at?
yeah, this is the thing that I want, and I guess I could just go in and grab this. I guess this is actually the formula that I want. So we're going to go in and try and see if that's the formula that I want. So what we're going to want to do is MCID name. We'll just do that. And now we can come over here and do sheets. We can do sheets. And we can create a spreadsheet row. Maybe we can't create a spreadsheet row. I mean, I know we can create a spreadsheet row, but let's just try that again because whatever that was. So I'm almost certain this isn't an issue on my side. I can't imagine that this would be an issue on my side. Can any of you guys maybe check Zapier and see if you can actually open up any of your Zaps or anything, or if you're getting some issue whenever you're trying to open up your Zaps? I can't imagine anything that I did, anything that I'm doing is actually causing this problem right here.
Yeah, I'm getting a 502 bad gateway on Zapier.com on the login page.
So yeah, I would say that that's nothing that I'm doing. So I can't do that Zap right now because Zapier is not working. But that's what I would do here. I would store that user's birthday. So let's go in and just do the rest of this flow. Oh, it's asking for some drinks or some dessert. And let me just make sure that this is the right way to spell dessert. And this is, yeah, not desert. So, so we're going to now do that. At that point, we'll trigger that guy out. Now let's go in real quick and go into settings. And let's add another custom field. And we'll call this on birthday promo. And I guess what we could actually do is, come back here. And then I guess we can just come back here and delete that guy. And we can come here and delete that guy. And we can take this guy and delete that guy. And then give ourselves another user input. And then have a multiple choice here. Drinks. So you just want to do drinks and dessert, or you want to offer them like a 10 or 10, 30, 10 or 30% discount as well? What do you say, Amir? You want to give them a discount as well, or you just want to give them the option
I
of
want to
drinks or
offer
dessert?
a discount in another growth tool, like when we make a promo post, like comment below and you will get 10% or $10 off.
Right, but do you want to offer that here to them? Do you want to say, hey,
Yeah,
on your
why
birthday,
not?
I'll give you drinks, dessert, or 10% off or 15% off?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Why
so
not?
let's do that. Let's just give them a 20% off. That would be
But
cool.
I want to ask you why you didn't make it like a quick replay instead of give them an option. Why did you use this
Because
option?
if I make quick replies, then I can't continue this flow. If I make quick replies, then I've got to, if I do drinks, then now if I do this, right? If I do this, what I have to do is I have to come over here. I have to do an action group, and then I have to come in here, and I need to, I don't need to subscribe to sequence. I need to do an action group. I need to set a subscriber custom field. I need to go in and set this on birthday promo, and then set this equal to drinks, right?
Yeah.
And then I need to do this again for my next option. I need you to do it again for my next option. If I just use this, it alleviates it for me. I don't have to do that. It's already automatically done for me. So it just saves me about 7 minutes of time. So that's why I did that, because it's just going to save me some time doing it that way.
Can we tag them in this stage, like this person preferred desserts or drinks, so we can send them in the future a promotion about drinks since he loved drinks or something like this? Put him in a sequence.
We can tag them, but we don't need to tag them because we are storing this data as a custom field. So we don't need to tag them, because we could literally, when we go run a broadcast, all right, when we run this broadcast and we want to go to the next and we want to condition somebody, we can tag them. So we can go in and say, hey, if this tag is they want drinks, right? But at the same time, we could just run this condition and we could just say on birthday promo is drinks. And it's the same thing. It's just essentially done the exact same thing. So no real reason to actually tag them whatsoever, right? We don't have any real reason to tag them. We can literally just accomplish it. The only reason we want to tag them is so that we can segment them for promotions later on, right? Well, they're already segmented. I can already go in and filter out by them and say, hey, give me these guys who on their birthday promo wanted drinks or wanted 10% off or wanted this or that. So there's no real reason to tag them at all. So we could, but it would be pretty arbitrary if we did it. So I'm not going to do it. So, so now I'm just going to do this. So that should be good enough for that flow, right? So we're going to go in and say, do you want to get a discount? Do you want to get a discount? Let's say. Do you want to get something special on your birthday? They say no, and then we just route them into standard functions of our bot, standard things that they could want to do in our bot if they don't want to do that, because this is going to be our welcome message. It's going to be our intake flow, right? So they say, yes, I'd love to get something special on my birthday. So we're going to be like, great, we'd love to celebrate your birthday with you. Can you tell me when your birthday is? They're going to give us that birthday. We're going to trigger a zap, throw their birthday up to Zapier. Maybe at some time, maybe Zapier will never work again, but I would expect that pretty soon they should be working. So right now they're not working. So But so we're going to throw this up to Zapier. What we're going to do is essentially we're going to do something just like this, where we've got Google Sheets. We're going to do something essentially just like this. We're going to dump their information into a spreadsheet just like this. We're going to dump their ManyChat ID. We're going to dump their name, and we're going to dump the birthday that they've given us. This person's birthday is, I find your conversational banter entertaining. So we're going to dump their birthday into a sheet like this. And then from that birthday, we're going to use this little function right here to calculate what their actual age is. Okay. So then what we're going to do is we're also going to go in and look this value up immediately after we calculate this. We're going to look this value up, and we're going to push this value right back down to Zapier in their age field so that now we can go in and we've stored their birthday. We know how old they are, and crap. Now the only issue is here. That this is actually incorrect here. So I'm not sure if we can do this age. I'm not sure if we could do age. I don't want to reference that age because that's not going to be that's their current age. That's not going to be their birthday age. I want to figure out how I can increment that value. So I'll have to go in there. I mean, if I want to do this, I need to have another field called age plus 1, and then I need to set that field age plus 1. I need to set that down in Zapier somehow. So I'm going to leave that. We really look forward to giving you drinks and celebrating with you on your special day. So I'm not going to reference their age right now because, like I said, I'm going to have to do something a little bit more complex to go in and take the whatever age that they have and then add 1 to that value and then reference that. So okay, so I know exactly how I could actually do that though. So lucky for me, I am a freaking genius and I can always figure stuff out. So what I'll do here is literally I'll just come in here, I'll add an action group, I'll do this action, I'll set a subscriber custom field, and I'll set this age, and then I'll increase this number by 1. And then I'll come in here and I'll send a message, and I'll send out this message. And then I'll drop their age right in there. And then I'll continue with this guy. And then I'll bring my value back to what it was before. So there's that. So now I can't actually do that. If I use my brain a little bit and do a little bit of magic, then we can do that. So now what we're going to do is now we'll go in. Now we've got their birthday. Now we know what they want to have. And this actually isn't going to make sense right here. If I tell them we look forward to giving you 20%, to giving you 20% dessert, if we look forward to giving you drinks, we look forward to giving you dessert, we look forward to giving you 20%. So for that, now if I really want to, now this may seem like it's too complex and I'm doing too much there, but I don't want to have a stupid bot that gives somebody non-correct content. I don't want them to get some content that doesn't actually make sense. I want them to get some content that actually makes sense. So I'm going to give them content that makes sense instead of giving them content that doesn't make sense. I'm just going to go ahead and say if this is 20%, off. And that's going to be 20% off. So if this is 20% off, if that's a no, then I'm going to route there. If that's a yes, then I'm going to route there. And then I'm just going to replace this guy with 20% off.
Hey, John, along the lines of appropriate content, and again, just to kind of play with some concepts, let's assume you want to be able to filter out people below a certain age and not offer them drinks. So in other words, if you put in a birth date and it shows you're under the legal drinking age, so then drinks would not be an option that you would offer them.
Yeah, so we could do that right now. In order to do that, what we want to do is, do this. What we want to do is, first off, this is just driving me crazy, so let's just get rid of this over here. I like everything to be nice and organized. So now what we want to do, let's grab this guy right here and pop him in right there. And then, actually, let's not do that at all. Let's just grab this guy right here and copy this guy and paste that guy in there. And then let's just go to this guy and delete these guys so that I don't have to rebuild anything, because this is technically faster. So now I got that guy. So now let's come in here and add a condition right here.
Right. Yep.
And then that's a great idea, though. Now let's just go in here and check if age is greater than or equal to 21. Then I'm going to route him there. If not, then I'm going to route him here.
Right. And this same logic could apply for multiple things. You know, are you vegan, or whatever the situation might be for that restaurant or for the cell situation, right? It just becomes a conditional filter.
Correct. And that's all we're really doing here. We just got a little conditional filter that's going to check and see, hey, dude, are you 21? If you're 21, then I'm going to offer you drinks. If you're not 21, then I'm going to, if you're not 21, then I'm not going to offer you
dessert. Yeah.
Correct. Now, and guys, just so you know, just this, and I really appreciate that, because just this, no one else will do that in there. I don't want to say no one.
Exactly.
The average people won't do that in your bot. And just this, if you show your client that you've put that much thought into building a demo bot for them, and they can see, look, you know, this is literally filtered by their age to look and see if I can even offer these guys drinks or not, because I don't want to offer them drinks if they're not 21. They're gonna think you're a genius, and they are gonna buy from you, because anybody else, if they probably haven't been pitched a bot already, and if they have been pitched a bot already, I could guarantee you that person most likely did not put that amount of effort into working out these flows and seeing what's possible and making things a really good flow.
Yeah, they're just trying to push little bits of messages back and forth. They're not really taking into consideration logic necessarily.
Right. So now we've got this, right? So actually now we need to go in here, get rid of that guy. So let's just make that clear that he's doing that. So now we're going to ask him for his birthday. We're going to check if he's 21 or not. The only problem here the only thing I want to do here, though, is I want to add a delay here. And then I'm just going to grab this thank you right here. And then I'm going to put him over here. And I'm going to kick this delay up to 5 seconds. Anybody know why I'm doing that?
Either to give the Zap a chance to respond, or to make the user feel that they're actually interacting.
Really just No, really just to give this Zap enough time to
Yeah.
process and send back down my age so that
Right.
so that this is valid. So that's the only reason, is because I need some time for that Zap to process, and 5 seconds should be enough time for that Zap to process, unless of course they're doing whatever they're doing right now, which is not working at all. So
Right.
looks like now they're actually working. So looks like now
You're back.
Now we could go and actually pick that Zap up. So now we want to celebrate your birthday with you. When is your birthday? Get birthday. Say thank you. Check age. If age is 21 or older, offer drinks. If not, only offer dessert and 20% off. Increment age by 1. Give them message that says, great, we look forward to giving you whatever it is that they ask for, whether drinks, dessert, or 20% off, and celebrating with you on your special day when you turn age +1. Then take 1 away from age again to make sure age was great. And then I think here at this point, what we could now here at this point, we obviously don't want to end this flow, right? At this point, we can't just end this flow. We need to go in and do something just like this now. Copy this guy, paste this guy over here, and then route this guy in here. And I probably didn't actually need to do that. I probably could have just used this. This says, okay, how can we help you today? I'm just going to go ahead and repeat this flow and have a different message and say, is there anything else we can help you with today? So now there is essentially our welcome message.
So, John, for example, we talked about this yesterday. Flows like this obviously have a lot of value, and they help walk us through the entire process from A to Z. So what would be the mechanism now for us to be able to have a copy of this available for us to dissect? How are you envisioning making that available?
Well, how do you want it available? Do you want it available visually, or do you want it available where you can actually tinker with it?
You tinker with it, because right now, for example, Italian restaurant, that page has this incorporated because you were made admin of that page, right? And that's cool for that page. But for everyone else watching, it's like, oh, this is really great. You know, a lot of good ideas came into play. But now how would we get access to, we can't get access to that page, but maybe, I'm not sure, you're talking yesterday about having the equivalent of like a library of sorts that we would be able to dive into. And obviously we have to replicate the fields, et cetera, just to make sure the thing doesn't crash. But at least the logic would be in place.
So if you want access, if you don't want this, okay, because I can do this really, really easy, and I can say,
that's just the picture, right.
I can say, there you go. But if you physically want this, you need to make me, and you need to come right here to settings, and you need to.
Right, but the idea wouldn't be to overload you with 300 requests of people saying, "Hey, can you add that to my page?" That wouldn't make sense, really.
Yeah, I mean, there's just no other. So, what we could do, okay, is we could create just like DemoBot. We could create another bot. I could create
a generic version of this.
Right. And I could copy flows over to that bot. And then I could literally just put all you guys, anybody who's interested, I could just make you guys admins of that bot. And then you guys could go into that bot and you guys could get flows. Because then what I could do, I could build it out in this bot, copy it over to that bot. And then you guys are admins of that bot. You have access. You could copy it over to your own page.
One question on that, though, John, because invariably someone is going to think it's their personal copy, not realizing it's a group copy, and they'll tinker on that version, and all of a sudden it doesn't work. So is there a way for you to Does ManyChat allow, for example, for me to share with someone else, but they can only view and not edit?
Nope.
Okay. All right. So then it just needs to be really clear that people can't go in and edit this. They can make a copy for themselves to their own personal page and do the manual work you were offering to do for us, which, again, we don't want to overload you with stuff, but at least this way it'd be a mechanism to have it. And you'd probably still need to have your own master version because invariably someone, like you said before, won't follow instructions and they'll mess it up anyway.
Yeah, and
But at least
essentially
you'll have a clean version.
Essentially that's how I see that this would happen, is that we would never build any flow in this shared bot. So we got this shared page, we got this shared bot, and no flow will ever be built there. What will happen is we'll go into a bot like this, we'll build out this flow in this bot, then we'll copy it over to that other bot. Now everybody has access to it. You can copy it to your guys' own bots.
Exactly.
If somebody screws it up, we just go back to this bot, to this target bot, and we recopy it over it and replace it. And
well, there is another option. John, there is another option possibly, again, to avoid that and also put a little more control in place. You were saying, on your end, essentially, you have low overhead as far as costs, correct?
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it's free, but it's low overhead. So on our end here, if folks want to have a copy of all the demos that were built, you could offer that. There might be some additional costs to that to cover your local production costs. So it's not taking away resources that you're paying for yourself, especially if you're talking hundreds of users. And this way, someone local on your end actually has, compensation through you, but it's not coming out of your pocket. And this way, you're sure everything is clean. You're not creating additional, because otherwise you're going to have a lot of support requests saying, hey, this thing is broken, it's not working. And then you can spend even more time trying to go figure it out. Right?
So you're suggesting you're suggesting that I take like one of these guys sitting out here and I just make them like a dedicated bot resource that a group.
Well, we can send out requests. You might say, hey, listen, we have 50 demos out here. Do you want them all, or do you just want specific ones, or whatever, or just offer them all as a package? And then someone say, yeah, I'll pay the $2, $20, whatever price you come up with. Say, yep, could you please have one of your guys push them over to my bots? I'll make them temporary admin of these pages I've set up ahead of time and get it going that way. And my guess is that people would do it on a piecemeal basis, because in order for them to really have a copy of what you're building out, they're going to need pro version, right? Which means they're going to have to pay $10 per just to ManyChat in order to have that functionality in place. So I don't think folks will necessarily want the entire library, because they may not necessarily be able to justify that for themselves. But like in this case, if someone's going after the restaurant business, well, you said yourself yesterday, focus on one, right? Yeah. You don't need 100 demos, you need one.
Right.
So they might say, hey, listen, I really want the restaurant demo. So they'll pay whatever the fee you have in place to cover your costs. And then someone on your end actually transfers a copy of it to their personal page. And at that point, we know it's done right, and the person can tinker or actually go and demo it.
Yeah, no, that would be great. Topos. That would be great, and that would work. That would work fine. Can you get me some coffee, buddy? Thank you, sir. That would be great, and that would work fine from my perspective. That works. Yep. That works fine. And I'm not saying you don't need multiple demo bots. I'm saying you don't need multiple demo bots that you've never sold to somebody. So
that's right.
So if you've got 3 different demo bots, I would expect that you've already sold at least one version of that demo bot, because now you already have your confidence. Now you sell one version of your restaurant bot. Now you want to target a lawyer. Now, by all means, target a lawyer, but don't make a restaurant bot and then never sell it. And,
that's right.
And then have a bunch of other demos.
Yeah, the way I'm seeing it, John, from your perspective, as far as putting the course together, and really what you're putting together now is the guts of what's going to be a more full-fledged course as you develop this, because you're building a lot of content right now. You've got about close to 30 hours already of recorded material, plus the 35 hours coming up, right? So once all that's properly segmented and put in the library, the whole bit, you have a massive arsenal here. So for people who are attending your trainings, they would be the ones who would be able to purchase these demo bots installed on their sites. And in exchange, not only just for a little bit of money to cover your costs, but mostly the benefit to you would be that if they because they learned how this works and not just were given a template, they become a case study, right? They took the course, they took the teachings, then they got an accelerated path by having the demo bot handed to them on their personal page, and then they went off and did something for a client. And that becomes a testimonial for you, video, written, whatever it might be the case. And that's part of the price to pay, right? We need to pay you with testimonials. So you have something of much more value than the $2 or whatever it is to cover your costs for 20 minutes of work.
Right. No, I agree. I agree 100% there. So, and I could put that together. I could put something like that together relatively easy because my freshers can go in and do these bots. They can go in and do these bots easily, and they literally hardly cost me anything. And they're already, from my perspective, most of the time they're already a sunk cost. Although I did sell one of them today for $400 a month, and that
you rent them out. You don't really sell them. You rent them out.
Yeah. I rented her out, and it was really cool because the guy that I rented her out to, like he just wants her to be in training, so she doesn't even know what to do and how to work on the technology he wants her to do. So he pretty much just paid for 3 months to have her train in a cross-platform app building technology.
Like you're saying, this is good for your freshers because they don't literally have to build anything. They're not implementing logic. They're simply mimicking structure, right? They mimic the field structure. Actually, one step further in this thought, would the person who acquires this service from you need to also, I would assume, give you access to their Zapier so they can set up those linkages in place as well, right? Because otherwise it wouldn't perform.
Good. Anything that is that's Zap dependent, unless that person really wants to do it, wants to do it on their own.
Okay. Yeah, I think that'd be a really good process, John. That could really work. And again, I would really push towards making sure you get a whole bunch of testimonials because that's really the key for you to building something bigger out of all this.
Right, and I plan on querying you guys for testimonials in the last week of training. So I plan on in the last week of training start to really drive you guys to say, hey, did you learn shit? Was this valuable to you? Did it cost you anything? Great. Could you go give me a shout out or something like that?
Well, John, consider you're going to be having trainings every Saturday, correct? And the trainings are going to be actually going to have like 5 trainings per day, right?
Correct.
I would say at the end of each training, you essentially have people comment on a Facebook page or in a Facebook group right after the session. Because otherwise you're waiting, 5 weeks out for a comment. You want them pretty much coming in as the material just finished being delivered. So session 1 today wrapped up, great, comments come in. Because they're getting a session for free, they at least have to pay you with comments.
Right.
Comments and likes and whatever else.
And I don't want anybody to feel obligated to pay.
No, obviously. But again, if they get real value, they should.
Obligated to pay. I don't want you to tell you're obligated to pay. I want you to feel like you owe me something from the value that I created. So you guys see that I just went in and created that Zap we couldn't create earlier. I went in and I just used a trigger Zap event, the store user's birthday, which was what we're doing over here. This Zap we're storing user's birthday. So I just went over here and I did that. And then I picked that Google sheet that we created, that Italian demo bot birthdays, which is this guy right here. So actually looks like I'm missing something here, which is age. I don't want to put that age there. I want to put for that age. I want to put that guy there for that age. So I want to put this formula in there for that age so it auto calculates. So so for now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say that this guy is good. Okay. So for now, I'm going to say that this guy is good. I'm going to create and continue. For right now, I'm going to say that this is finished. I'm going to call this Italian demo bot. Put that in there. I'm going to turn this on.
One more condition comes to mind, John. So I go through this process. I put in my birthday, correct?
Uh-huh.
And you uniquely identified me based on the ManyChat ID, which identifies me specifically as an individual.
Correct.
Okay, so I did that, and now I'm not sure if it's on a different device or something, but I've essentially deleted my chat history with you, okay, with the bot, for whatever reason. And now I'm going back in there again, and it's asking for my birthday. I would be showing up twice on this list. Or if I simply wanted to correct my birth date, I put in the wrong year, I put in the wrong month. So to some degree, that almost has to be flagged, right? If the same user is coming back in, we have to be able to address that, either deleting the first one and then replacing it with a new value.
And we could do that right here. We could inject a step right here that would do a little bit of cleanup for us. We could inject a step here that would basically go in, do a look up by your current ManyChat ID, see if I can find you in the Google Sheet. If I can, then go ahead and delete you out of there,
Right.
and then start the process again. So we could go in and add that in if we wanted to. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to grab this guy and take this starting step and just put him right there, just so that I can preview this out.
John, while you do this, just a comment for everyone who's watching this, that little step that we put in as far as the 21 or younger condition, technically speaking, it was a very simple implementation, right? It's just an if-then scenario. But the value to the client is significant. And that's where, when proposing a pricing structure to a client, it's not really how much effort was put in, it's the value that they derive from it.
Correct.
All right, so people shouldn't be underpricing themselves.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push this out to myself now to see if this works. So you can see that works there. And here I'm actually going to come in here, and I think that I'm going to format this guy as plain text as well. And then delete that guy. Come back in, push this out to myself again. Format that guy as a date. So you see that guy worked just fine. I got your birthday. I got your age there. That's essentially exactly what I wanted. So now I need to come back in here, and I need to come over here, and I need to, don't tell me you're going to start to go crazy again, Zapier. Now what I want to do is I want to look up a spreadsheet row. And the row that I actually want to look up, I want to look up this guy right here from that same sheet. And the only reason I want to do that is because I have no access to this age value here. So I need to go back in and look him back up so that I can push him down to ManyChat. And I'm going to look him up based on the MCID. And then I'm going to look up based on that guy right there. So I'm going to look that guy up. And then I'm just going to go ahead and grab that guy just in case this fails, which it should not fail. And it didn't fail. So now I'm going to add another step. And I think this step could just be ManyChat. And here I can go ahead and set a custom field. And I always want to use this custom value. I'll use this guy from step 1. Custom field is going to be this age field. And this value is going to be this lookup row age. Now I'll turn that guy on. Now what I'm going to do over here is go to my audience, go here, delete my age. Now I'm going to delete my age, and I'll just come over here, drag this starting step down here. And then I'm also going to come over here, delete that row right there, and then I'll push this out to myself. And yes, I'd love that. So my birthday is 6/26/1986. And you can see I got the drinks menu there, right? So I'm going to say drinks. Great. We really look forward to giving you drinks and celebrating with you on your special day when you turn 32. So that's what I wanted. The only thing I think I want to do right here is come in here and add some delay here. And probably going to be a 5-second delay. And now I want to come back over here to this guy, delete his age. He's going to be 0 for now. Come back over here, delete that guy, come back over here, push this guy back out to myself. I'd love to have that. And I'm going to say my birthday is 6/26/1990. Nope, shouldn't have done that. Because I'm still too old. So I'm going to delete this out again. And then I guess I'll just be a child and get born in 2007. 6/26/2007. So now I'm only 10. And I can see I no longer have access to drinks here. I can only get 20% off, or I can get dessert. So I'll take the 20% off. And I'll see you whenever you turn 11. And then now I have these other options now that I can go in and do. I still have given this guy a call to action. So now this guy still has a call to action. And Dave, what were you talking about whenever you said that would be sick for learning purposes? Not quite sure what you were referring to whenever you said that would be sick for learning purposes. So I think this guy is good, though. I need to go back in and build out these flows, but I think this guy is good for a welcome message. So I can just come back into this bot, delete this conversation. I'll just delete this guy right here. And then I can come back to this bot and click send message. Pretty sure that I deleted that conversation. And I'll send message there. Now I can get started. So that tells me what I need to do is come to this welcome message and turn this on because he's not enabled. So there's that. Don't want to get anything for my birthday today. Got a clear call to action here. You can see his location. See that he has several locations. Let's check the one in Commerce Township. See why I don't like using those buttons. This is what I mentioned why I don't like using those buttons, because it makes this too big now. And the user actually has to scroll up to see this entire content, which is why I really don't like using these buttons that much. See his business hours. And that guy's business hours. Let's go in and look at his business hours and see why he's like that. He is like that because I just really don't like. I really don't like that. So let's see if I can. Separate that a little bit. So let's try him out again with other locations. Check his business hours. Think maybe that is the wrong flow. I just really am not liking how he's delivering those business hours. Those business hours are not looking so great. So let me just do this real quick. Let's find this guy right here. Make that our starting step. Preview that guy. Now that looks much better. So that just means that somewhere in there we've got those business hours repeated, and that business hours was in. That business hours was
Non. Putain, enfoiré. Espèce d'enculé, va.
It's in this location right here, I'm assuming. Yep. He's right there. So let's just
Espèce
edit.
d'enculé.
Let's edit that guy.
Oh.
Let's edit that guy. And then let's edit that guy. Let's publish him. And then let's just go back to the content for business hours. And let's move this guy back over there as our starting step. And let's publish him. So now a couple other things that we could quickly do is we could go in to our automation, add some keywords, business hours. So we can just do something like that. Business hours, operating hours, if any of these contains that, create that. We can go ahead and select that existing guy, select those business hours. So now they can come in and just ask us what our business hours are. Now I think I'd really like to figure out how to implement that preferred location so that my user doesn't have to continuously tell me what location that he wants to see. I'd really not like him to have to do that. So far we've got a pretty decent start. We got a much better start than the actual Johnny Carinos has, that's for sure. So we got a much better bot so far than the actual Johnny Carinos has. We've got a better bot than they have. So Amir, what do you think? What's the next thing that you want to implement, you think? Okay, so you want to build the Zap that will deliver the
I want to
promo
build
on
a
his
lead
birthday.
generation bot. Okay. So I've got the landing page where people can opt in and get a free weight loss consultation. Okay. So the bot asks some questions like what's your weight, what's your desired weight, how long, what have you done before, why are you gaining weight, these kind of things. And then at the end, the bot will say, okay, thank you for this. Give me 1 hour and I will prepare like a small document for you with all my recommendation. And what I would like is make a document with this kind of thing of ideally it will be a PDF that I can give him back through the bot. But in this PDF, you have some text, but you also have some calculations. For example, is BMI. It's just like his weight divided by his age and blah, blah, blah. Okay, so, but I don't know how to do this calculation, store this into one field. And
So that, I mean, that we could do. We could build pretty much anything that you want to build. That's no big deal. And the BMI calculation isn't super hard to do. By the way, Amir, you wanted to see how to do this to build the bot that will actually deliver the promo code on his birthday or deliver the promo on his birthday. So we're going to go in and actually build that out. So to start with, what we're going to do is remember this sheet where we're storing our birthdays at, right? We got this sheet where we're actually storing the guy's age, right? And I want to actually reference the age. I think I'm referencing birthday and I don't want to reference that. I really actually want to reference age. So we got this sheet. So what we're going to do now, we're just going to keep this sheet. And then what we're going to do is when this age field will update as soon as it's his birthday. All right. Now,
John, I want to do something, please. I
Yeah,
want
sure.
this message to be delivered before his birthday by 1 day. So we tell him, hey, you can tomorrow come to our restaurant. Maybe he's not free this day. Maybe he prefer to come to our restaurant tomorrow. Can this be done? Because I think this will be much easier for people. Though I don't know what time he will get the message.
Can this be done? So anything can be done, right? So don't get that twisted. Anything can be done. Now the real question is how to actually do it. So first, let's go in and push this guy out to myself. So now there's that. Now what I want to do is hey, if you do whatever that we tell you to do, then why don't you guys shut up and quit talking about whether or not an office is closed or not? So what to do what you want to do, man, what I need to do is I need to first figure out how to adjust this birthday, because literally what I want to do is I want to use this sheet right here where I'm collecting my data, calculating an age, and this same sheet I want to use as my trigger to trigger off this birthday promo. So if you want to do it, I need to figure out how to actually do this guy. Oh, shit. So now, okay, so we figured out how to do that. Pretty straightforward, right? We just did that -1. So we need to come back over here. I need to come back over here and figure out what I could have called that. So, let me see if this will actually work. This needs to be equals maybe this guy. And just keep in mind, I have no idea if this is actually going to work. Okay, but we are going to try it, and that shouldn't be C. Should that be C? Yeah, that should be C. That should be C. And that should be E. Now, like I said, just keep in mind that I actually have no idea if that's going to work at all or not, but most of being an engineer is not knowing what you're doing and just trying shit out until you find something that works. Imagine that. Imagine that worked. So now we could do what you want to do easy, man. We can now go in and just use this guy as our notify flag, because this guy will update one day before this guy will, because I adjusted his birthday by 1 day, right? I put his birthday 1 day in the past, and this guy right here is a function of a today function, and this today function is referencing today's date. So this will tomorrow, this today function is holding a new date. So when it's time for his birthday to actually update, then this thing will update. His birthday is actually going to update automatically. Whenever it's his birthday, this will update automatically to his new age. However, this notify flag is going to update 1 day before his birthday. So this is going to update 1 day before his birthday. And now I can use this notify flag over here. I'll use that notify flag. Whenever this guy gets updated, when this notify flag gets updated, I'm going to push out some content. I'm going to push out some content to my MC user. So now what I want to actually do is go in and do that. And I want to deliver a birthday promo. Shit. So I want to deliver this guy a birthday promo. All right, so I'm not really 100% sure what I'm going to do here, but I do know that I'm going to have a condition that is going to be on birthday promo is drinks dessert. Gonna have a couple messages, that way I can deliver him the specific content for what he actually chose. Here he chose a 20% off coupon. Here he chose to get some dessert. Here he chose to get some drinks. So I can deliver him some content. And this is just going to say I'm just going to say happy birthday. So here I'm just going to have an image. Here I'm just also going to have an image. Here I'm just also going to have an image. Okay, so here's this. I'm going to go in and do happy birthday. See if I can find something at a restaurant that says happy birthday. So, hey, this would be probably great for that would be great for my dessert, right? I could give something like that for my dessert. I don't see anything that could also be great for my dessert. That's a pretty good image right there. That's a good, that would be a good birthday present. So I don't see anything that could be real specific to an actual restaurant. So let's just give a generic happy birthday. But I mean, I want something to be not look so childish and not look so kiddie and so childish, but be a little bit. Yeah, this I think is good. That would be good if it wasn't. This is good. I think that will be fine. So let's go back to that restaurant happy birthday. And I think something like this could be, I think something like this could technically be good, right? Because that looks like some dessert to me. I just don't like that guy holding that lighter. That looks like some dessert. Something like this could be good. Something like this could be good, I think. But those aren't going to work because they're not the right size for me. That's not going to work because it's got somebody else's name on it. Yeah, let's just say this one's going to work. So we'll just save that one. That one could work. That one could actually work. And this is just another service that you can offer your client, is to get them really good images. You could just, as an extra upsell, you could go in and get some good images for them. I can't find any really great images that are just really sticking out to me that I really want to put inside here that have some drinks. So I'm just going to go in and grab this one. Hey, and this is actually literally what I need. We've already given them 20% off. So I could go in here. I could go in here and grab this guy and edit this guy. I'm not going to edit that guy. I'm just going to put him in as is. So I'm going to cheat and put that guy as is. So this is if this guy wants drinks. That drink should be that image is one, right? This is if that guy wants, what is this? If that guy wants dessert, that dessert was the Tula. Where is that Tula? I don't see that Tula. Oh, there's that guy. And this was that Payless. So there's the drinks. There's a happy birthday image. There's my happy birthday discount. And then here, let's go in and do what we did before. And don't forget to come in and celebrate with us on your birthday tomorrow. Let's have a little delay and another text. And then there's that. Oh. So let's connect that guy. Let's connect that guy. Now this is good. And the only other thing that I think that maybe we could do here is here we could do something like this. Here we could do something like this. Or maybe we could do it right here where we could add a quick reply that just basically says I'll be there, and another quick reply that says sorry I can't come. And if they say sorry I can't come, we could basically allow them to share this discount that we're giving them for their birthday with one of their friends, so they could give away, you know, we're going to give them a free drink or a free dessert or a free 20% off. We could just allow them to gift that to one of their friends. That way we could at least get some warm body into our restaurant and have them spend some money at a restaurant. So we could do something like that. So I'm not going to do it right now, right here, because I'm about to take a break for a little bit, because I believe this has been about a 2-hour session so far, and I really need to pee. And I think I have a client call that I'm supposed to take. Let's see, what time is PST right now? This is at 9 a.m. No, I've got a little bit of time. I've got a little bit of time before my call, because I'm believing that's at 12. So you can see here this other flow. This other flow is working pretty nice. This is what we're going to deliver. This is what we're going to deliver on their actual birthday. So the only other thing that we needed to do here, so this is deliver birthday promo. What we actually need to do here is come in here, choose this app called Mini Chat. Topos, buddy. How about some tea, man? Any teas available, Topos? Thank you, sir. So let's send some content to a user. That user is going to be this custom value. Going to grab his ManyChat ID from that spreadsheet. That's why we store that. And we are going to deliver birthday promo. So now let's see that in our dashboard. Now let's come over here to this guy. Let's get rid of that guy. All right. Let's come right back over here to this guy. Let's pull him down. Let's preview this guy out. Yep, I'd love that. My birthday is 6/26/1986. Actually, I'm almost certain it's not going to work if I do that. So let's look and see if this all filled out properly. That sheet did fill out properly. I want to get some drinks. Now, essentially how this is going to work to deliver this birthday promo, essentially how that is going to work is what's going to happen on this date every year, 6/26 every year. This field right here will automatically update. One day before that, on 6/25 every year, this field will automatically update. This field would have automatically changed. 2/32. And now what would have happened is this is going to run. And now that that's run, there's my happy birthday. There's my drinks because that's what I'm getting. Oh, I need to automatically continue. And there's that. And the only thing I think I want to do is go in here and reference this guy's name so that this is a little bit more personal. So let's do this one more time. So now there's that. And then I just need to change that one thing right there. So everybody on the same page, everybody's followed exactly what we've done and has understood what we've done. Any questions anybody has on anything that we've done so far? Questions, concerns, comments? You guys are just being really quiet so I can go take a break, right? This is what's going on. You guys are being really quiet because you want me to go take a break. So I'll do that. I'll take a little break. I'll take a little break for a little while. I'll send you guys out a notification through the bot in just a little bit. Whenever we start another training session, I'll be able to do that in just probably about 30 minutes. I'll take like a 30-minute break, and then I will send you guys out another notification. And then we can just kind of continue on from here and build out a little bit more of this birthday bot. And then probably by the end of the day, we can have this birthday or whatever this bot is, this restaurant bot, we could have it pretty much finished for the most part with what we need for everything. So anyways, I'll see you guys soon. Thank you so much for coming today.